Yeah, the tights, yeah.
The tights, are they?
I've never been in a place so different as Hong Kong, you know. I'd never been in the Far East before. See, I was supposed to play in Singapore, and they wouldn't let me in because my hair was too long.
Really?
It's true, we've got a barber at the airport.
Really?
Right, sit there, no bloody way. So, I'll get my hair cut when it suits me, you know, when some Singapore councillor thinks it's a good idea. And we went to Bombay once, and they wouldn't let me in there either, because there was a smallpox scare in Britain. And I thought you were more likely to get it than give it away in Bombay. But so the world was shut that day, and we went to Australia. But Hong Kong was great. It's a smashing place.
What were you doing in Hong Kong?
I was playing in a place called the China Fleet Club. I did 7 nights there. It was great. To drunk soldiers, guys with their head in soup. You know? But do you know what they've got in Hong Kong? You wouldn't believe this. They've got you know how it's incredibly overpopulated. There's about 90 people living in a room. There's Granny and Grandad and Uncle Willie and the Waynes, Ma and Pa. And so people can't have, you know, a bit of a cuddle without everybody knowing about it, you know. The children crying, going, look at my father's doing. So they have brothels for married people.
Really?
Now they go and check in at the weekend and get a quick cuddle and come home because the rooms are overcrowded. Incredible. It was great. I loved it.
You played in Arabia too, didn't you, in various parts of?
Well, around the Gulf there, I played Kuwait and Abu Dhabi.
Were these audiences, I mean, were they mainly expatriate Scots or what?
No, you see, you got all these engineers out there with the oil. You get the Englishmen, Americans, Germans. And there's a lot of Scottish accountants, you know. Scottish people are good at counting money, you know. And lawyers and bankers and things. It's great, you know, and huge audience. There's hundreds of guys out there. And it's very, very good for me.
What about the locals who came along to see you? I mean, do you have any problems with them at all?
No, you see, there's a lot of Arabs. He went to Strathclyde University for chemical engineering. You're laughing at me. This is the truth. They go for chemical engineering, which is what the oil industry's all about, really. And they had like, Glasgow girlfriends who gave them my albums to get over the sort of language barrier. And the fans, you don't believe me, do you? It's true, yeah.
What about travelling, though? I mean, is that the most pleasant aspect of your job, do you think?
I don't know if I like it.
Does it expand the mind or narrow?
Narrows the mind.
You think it does, do you?
Definitely.
Why?
The more I travel, the more I miss my own bed and everything. When you live out the suitcase for that long, it's a bit... I think I better stop talking about my own bed.
Yes, I won't ask the question, yeah. But what about, I mean, when you were in Australia, of course, you were over there at the same time as I was. And that was a time when nasty things were happening in Britain, of course. You had the riots and that sort of thing. What kind of effect did that have on you? It had a very spooky effect on me, I must admit.
I had the strangest feeling when the riots were going on here, and I was away over there. I wanted to come back. And I don't know why. I mean, what was I going to do? Run up the street saying, hey, you chaps, stop it. Stop drinking that petrol and get on with your work. So, there's nothing I could do, but I had this desire to come back. It was a funny tour. We went to New Zealand. There's nobody there.
Not a single person?
Not a sausage. There's 3 million people and 66 million sheep. It's a pervert's paradise. In Tasmania, you got to see Tasmania. I think that was hand-knitted somewhere. It's unbelievable, you know what it's full of weird people sitting on walls.
Is that all they do, sitting on walls?
Yeah, there's a lot of loonies in Tasmania. I don't know. He said, could you direct me to the airport? People don't like it when they live in the flight path to the airport. They keep falling off the wall. Look at that.
Well, in fact, you'd be going to Spain talking about travel now that your lads have...
No, I don't think I'll... I think
the World Cup.
I think I'll leave it out.
Why is that?
Do you remember when Celtic won the European Cup? There was 26 Glasgow guys didn't come home from Lisbon. They just stayed. You know, and they were bundling... There was such a panic at the end. They were just at the customs in Lisbon. They're saying, right, how many? 300, right, you go in that plane. Never mind the passports. Get on, blow. Right. And the 2 guys get back to Glasgow Airport and they're saying, where's the car? He said, what do you mean? He said, we drove there. I remember. Do you know, Celtic, years ago, I'm a Celtic supporter, you know, and years ago they played Sunderland in the run-up to the European Cup. And there was a bus coming back to Glasgow full of Celtic supporters all singing. They had just won, 4-1 if I remember. They were singing songs. And they passed this guy lying on the pavement, you know, the spreading. I think he wanted God to see how he looked standing up. This is me, God, look. Somebody in the bus said, hey, there's a Celtic supporter lying on the pavement. Get him on the bus. Hey, driver, stop the bus. Hold the phone, right. So they bundle this rubber man onto the bus. He doesn't know. He doesn't know if it's New York or New Year. He doesn't know, right? So they bundled him onto the bus, and he's on the way back to Glasgow, and they've got through his pockets, and they've got an address in Govan, which is a sort of district of Glasgow. And they stop the bus at Govan and lumber him up the stairs, and up to his door, knock, and the woman up, and she said, what the hell are you doing here? He said, that's his address. We got it in his pocket. She said, I know, but he's in his honeymoon in Newcastle.
I often wonder actually what tourists, you know, make when they go up to Scotland, you know, and I'm sure foreigners full of the sort of the image of the sporting Scot. I mean, they have us believe, you know, that they're going through the grouse shooting birds or casting flies.
Yes. Aye, what's a fly? Oh! Oh, look at the state of this.
That's right. I saw you at a swap shop this morning giving away all your secrets of your hair.
Oh, yes.
I didn't realise it was a Twinkie perm you had, was it?
I bought a thing, it was a tweeny twink. Because the afro haircuts were all the rage at the time, and I thought, I'll have one of them. You know? You should have seen it. You put on the twink and it smells like rotten eggs. And you take it out early so as it doesn't work properly. So you don't get the wee curls, you get whop. So my hair stuck out, it was great. It was all, you see the length it is, well, it was like that, all round. But I'd had a side shed, and so it went lopsided, it went flump. I had to hold it up. People kept blowing in my head, trying to tell the time. I washed it this morning.
Have you ever dyed it?
I've dyed it. I used to have it lilac at the front.
Lilac?
Yeah, and in Glasgow, that's brave.
Right, yeah.
But it was lilac, and then it went white, and I just left it. It was great. Every day was a wee adventure. It kept changing, and then it became real brassy, hooker blonde, you know. And it was like horns. It was great, you know. A queer reaction in people, you know. People.
Going back to that thing about, we're talking about sports and things in Glasgow, the different some images and things. I remember the lasting image I've got of the area where I came from, I don't know if it's the same in Glasgow, was of pigeon lofts. That was the great sport.
Yeah.
Was it the same when you were in?
I used to have pigeons, yeah. And we used to go and capture them down at the granary where they make the bread and that. There's a lot of pigeons there. But Peter McDougall is a playwright pal of mine. He comes from Greenock, and he's telling me there's a Greenock pub, you know, and Greenock's quite a hard industrial area, you know. And a guy came in the pub with he's got a box and he's pigeoning it. In Scotland they call pigeons doos, you know. I don't know why, but they call them doos. The wee doo in the box, you see. So he's having a pipe, he's going talking to the doo, you see. Because they get very close to the pigeons, these guys, you know. They're really fanatical about it. So he's gone to the toilet and he says to the guy, you watch my doo, keep your eye on it. Oh, all right. So the box is going like that. The guy has a look in, oh, we'll look at this doing it. This dude's scudding across the pub, you know, hey, I'll get it, and I'm throwing pints at it and stuff. And it's settled in one of those mock Tudor, Fablon Tudor beans, you know, Formica things. And it's up there, and the guy, he's really, when he comes back, he's going, oh, how am I doing? He's trying to get close to it, and he eventually gets on a chair, and he's got a wee tin with some corn in it going, rattle. And a drunk comes out of the lavabo, he says, oh, do as I'll show you how to get it done. And he gets a brush and whack! And the feathers are drifting to the front. And this thing's had 3 heart attacks, and it's going round the pub. And the guy in the chair says to the barman, really cool, hey, John, could you order 2 ambulances, please? One for the pigeon and one for this bastard. I love it. Oh, that's dirty, let me in. Oh, Lord! They put this album together of the best of my stuff. And then the Cambridge Theatre became available. And I thought, I'll do a concert there. with the best of my stuff, going right back to my old stuff, up to just now.
Because, I mean, one of the things that I'm noticing most of your concerts is that you get requests, don't you? I mean, people
Yeah.
come along, they shout out, do the crucifixion and do this, and you've never ever done that. You've never gone back.
No, I don't do it anymore.
But-
Well, I might do it this time. I've got so much of my old stuff. It's funny, I've been playing it at home.